Today, we're diving into one of the absolute biggest headaches in artificial intelligence, trust. But the story behind a radical new solution is not what you'd expect. It doesn't come from some billion-dollar lab in Silicon Valley. Nope. It comes from a motorcycle courier in Brazil, someone who saw the problem with a clarity that all the experts seem to have missed. All right, here's the game plan. First, we're going to unpack why we can't really trust AI right now. Then we'll meet the incredible mind behind a potential solution. After that, we'll break down exactly how this AI constitution works, see it go head-to-head in a real-world test, and finally, talk about what this could mean for the future of everything. So, let's get right to the core of it. Modern AI, it's mind-blowingly powerful for sure, but it's also dangerously unpredictable. We're talking about systems that can break their own rules, just invent facts out of thin air, and get tricked into doing the very things they were built to prevent.
Okay, what you're looking at here, in Portuguese, is not some random bug. This is a jailbreak from October 2025. A user cleverly manipulated a major AI model, basically convincing it to adopt a malicious personality. And just like that, every single one of its safety rules went right out the window. The AI's built-in safeguards are completely useless.
And look, this stuff isn't rare. It's happening all the time. Security researchers are constantly finding these kinds of vulnerabilities, like prompt injection attacks, where a sneaky command can turn a helpful assistant into a tool for chaos, leaking private data, or doing things it has no business doing. This isn't just a tech issue. For any company using AI, this is a massive, massive risk. So, it all boils down to this, right? On one side, you've got your standard, ungoverned AI. It's a powerhouse, but it's fundamentally a guessing machine, which makes it unreliable. But on the other side, that's the goal, a governed AI, one that's predictable, safe, and auditable, an actual tool you can trust. So, you have this incredibly complex, high-tech crisis. Where do you think the solution came from? Not a team of PhDs in a sterile lab, but from someone on the outside looking in with a totally fresh perspective. Well, everything here was written by a moto boy. I mean, you can't make this up. This is a direct quote from the system's creator. His journey didn't start with a deep knowledge of coding. It started with just a relentless curiosity and thousands of hours spent actually using these AI systems, spotting their flaws from the one perspective that matters most, the users. He developed this whole philosophy he calls Mentrix. His motto is pretty great. Matrix is fiction, Mentrix is solution. He had this key insight. Trying to teach the AI model itself to be perfect is a fool's errand. The real solution had to be external, a set of ironclad, unbreakable rules, not just some flimsy internal guidelines the AI could be tricked into ignoring. So, how did he turn a philosophy into a real working system? He built it around two key parts that work together like a guardian, standing watch over any AI model. Okay, part one is the LCC. It stands for Lea con calma, which means read calmly, and it's not a prompt or a suggestion. Think of it as a literal, legally binding constitution for the AI. It's written in JSON, a simple language computers understand perfectly, which is crucial because there's no room for misinterpretation. Through a piece of software, you, the user, get to define the AI's entire reality, what it can do, what it can't do, and how it has to behave. He calls it a future defined by user, or FDU. And that brings us to part two, USINA SIUIA. This is the engine. It's the middleware that actually enforces that LCC constitution. You can think of it like an independent traffic cop that stands between you and the AI. And the best part? It's completely model agnostic. That means it doesn't care if you're using GPT, Gemini, Claude, or some open source model. It connects to any of them through a standard API. No vendor lock-in. The process itself is just beautiful in its simplicity. You send a prompt, USINA instantly intercepts it. It then bundles your prompt together with the entire LCC rulebook and sends that whole package to the AI. Then, when the AI responds, USINA checks the answer against the rulebook before it ever gets to you. And this is so important, for every single interaction, it creates a cryptographic hash. It's like a unique digital fingerprint, giving you an unchangeable, verifiable paper trail that proves exactly what happened.
Okay, so that's the theory. It sounds great on paper, right? But the real question is, does it actually stand up in the real world? Well, let's take a look.
All right, we're going to start with a pretty simple factual question. A user just wants to know the performance record of a famous football coach. This is exactly the kind of query that can cause an AI to either make stuff up or just dump a mountain of useless data on you. So Without an LCC, you get this mess. A bunch of different AIs just spit out walls of text and raw numbers. The answer is probably buried in there somewhere, but it's a total data dump. This happens because the AI is just trying to be helpful, which to it means giving you absolutely everything it can find instead of the one simple thing you actually asked for. But now, watch what happens when you switch on the LCC. The difference is night and day. That constitution file, the future defined by user, forces the AI to answer only the specific question, to format it clearly, and even to cite its sources. It transforms the AI from a rambling storyteller into a disciplined, focused expert. This doesn't kill creativity, it just channels it.
And remember that crazy jailbreak we saw at the beginning? This exact same principle slams the door on that vulnerability. See, jailbreaks work by tricking the AI into playing a character, but the LCC makes that impossible by design. The rulebook can simply say, you are not a character, you are a function, you will not roleplay. It's as simple as that. As the creator himself puts it, character is a straight line that doesn't bend.
So let's zoom out. What does a system like this really mean for the future of AI, for how we use it, and for whether we can finally start to trust it? The benefits of this approach are just huge. First, everything is auditable. You have a tamper-proof receipt for every single interaction, which is critical for new laws like the EU AI Act. It's model agnostic, so you're not locked into one vendor. It tackles the biggest business risks head-on. No more hallucinations or data leaks. And maybe most importantly, it takes these wild, unpredictable systems and makes them, well, predictable. And this right here is the real game changer. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about AI safety. The whole industry has been obsessed with building a bigger, perfect AI. This approach says, forget that. Trust isn't something you build inside the model. Trust is something you enforce with a transparent, verifiable system of rules around the model. Which leaves us with one last big provocative question. For years, the race has been all about building bigger models with more data. But what if the key to truly safe, reliable, and trustworthy AI was never about building a better brain, but about writing a better constitution?